जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, जय राधा माधव, जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी, गोपी जन वल्लभम, गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी, गोपी जन वल्लभम गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन, यशोदानंदन, यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन, यशोदानंदन। यमुना तीरावनचारी, यमुना तीरा, यमुना तीरावनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, जय राधा माधवम, जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी, गोपी जन वल्लभम, गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन, यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन। यमुना तीरावनचारी, यमुना तीरा, यमुना तीरावनचारी। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा हरे राम राम हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा गौर हरि बो, गौर हरि बो, गौर हरि बो। जय प्रभुपाद श्रीला प्रभुपाद, जय प्रभुपाद, जय प्रभुपाद श्रीला प्रभुपाद। जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य स्तोत्र सत शिष्य मध्य डिवाइन ग्रेस अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। इस्कॉन फाउंडर आचार्य श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। तैलाशी शिष्य राधा राधानाथ की जय। श्री गिरिराज गोवर्धन की जय। श्रीमान महाप्रभु की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Narayana namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam deving saraswating vyasam tato jayamudirayet nashtaprayesa bhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavatyutama shloke भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकीर्। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 25, entitled The Characteristics of King Puranjan, text number 12. Na sadhu mene ta sarva bhutale yavati pura kaman kamayamana aso tasya upapattaye na sadhu mene ta sarva na sadhu mene ta sarva bhutale yavati pura kaman kamayamanoso tasyopapattaye na sadhu mene ta sarva bhutale yavati pura kaman kamayamanoso tasyopapattaye na sadhu mene ta sarva bhutale yavati pura kaman kamayamanoso tasyopapattaye na sadhu mene ta sarva bhutale yavati pura kaman kamayamanoso tasyopapattaye na sadhu mene ta sarva bhutale yavati pura kaman kamayamanoso tasyopapattaye na sadhu mene ta sarva bhutale yavati pura kaman kamayamanoso tasyopapattaye na sadhu mene ta sarva bhutale yavati pura Kaman kamayamanoso tasya tasyopapattaye. Word for word translation: Na, never. Sadhu, good. Mene, thought. Tam, them. Sarvam, all. Bhutale, on this earth. Yavati, all kinds of. Puram, residential houses. Kaman, objects for sense enjoyment. Kamayamana, desiring. So, that king. Tasya, his. Tasya, his. Upapattaye, for obtaining. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 25, Text number 12, translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. King Puranjan had unlimited desires for sense enjoyment. Consequently, he travelled all over the world to find a place where all his desires could be fulfilled. Unfortunately, he found a feeling of insufficiency everywhere. Purport. Srila Vidyapati, a great Vaishnava poet, has sung, Tatala sakaite vari bindu sama, sutamita ramani samaje. Material sense gratification with society, friendship and love is herein compared to a drop of water falling on a desert. A desert requires oceans of water to satisfy it, and if only a drop of water is supplied, what is its use? Similarly, the living entity is part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who, as stated in the Vedanta Sutra, is Anandamayo Bhyasat, full of enjoyment. Being part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the living entity is also seeking complete enjoyment. However, complete enjoyment cannot be achieved separate from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In his wanderings in different species of life, the living entity may taste some type of enjoyment in one body or another, but full enjoyment of the senses cannot be obtained in any material body. Thus, Puranjan, the living entity, wanders in different types of bodies, but everywhere meets frustration in his attempt to enjoy. In other words, the spiritual spark covered by matter cannot fully enjoy the senses in any circumstance in material life. A deer may become absorbed in the musical sounds vibrated by the hunter, but the result is that it loses its life. Similarly, a fish is very expert in gratifying its tongue, but when it eats the bait offered by the fisherman, it loses its life. Even the elephant, who is so strong, is captured and loses its independence when satisfying its genitals with a female elephant. In each and every species of life, the living entity gets a body to satisfy various senses, but he cannot enjoy all his senses at one time. In the human form of life, he gets an opportunity to enjoy all his senses pervertedly, but the result is that he becomes so harassed in his attempted sense gratification that he ultimately becomes morose. As he tries to satisfy his senses more and more, he becomes more and more entangled. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manovishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mayam Dadati Sapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shyuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitangscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacham patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Na sadhu mene ta sarva bhutale yavati pura kaman kamaya manoso tasya tasyopapattaye. King Puranjan had unlimited desires for sense enjoyment. Consequently, he traveled all over the world to find a place where all his desires could be fulfilled. Unfortunately, he found a feeling of insufficiency everywhere. Hare Krishna. One time, all the limbs of the body, they held a Ishtagoshti, a meeting. And they all came there and they started arguing with each other. The eyes said that you all cannot do anything without me. When I see, then you all follow. Right? So I should be the head. The hand said, no, you cannot be the hand. Even if you see, you cannot do anything if I don't engage myself. So the hand started saying, actually without hands, nobody can do anything. Right? I should be the head. Then the legs started saying, no, even if you have hands, you can't walk on them. Right? You can't go anywhere, you can't move without me. I should be the head. Then the brain said, no, look, all of you. If I don't work, nobody works. So I should be the head. Right? Then the stomach said, no. If I don't work, then all of you can't work. So I should be the head. And all the limbs started laughing at the stomach, saying, what? You just sitting there, getting bigger and bigger. You take all our efforts and you don't do anything. No. You cannot be the head. And so they were all fighting amongst themselves. And there was no conclusion. Everyone said, okay, what? You know what? We are not going to work for the others. We'll just do our own thing. And this one, the stomach, we are not going to give him anything. Nothing. Let him work for his own pleasure. Right? And so stomach said, okay, fine. First few days the limbs were strong. After a few days, mouth dried up, hands didn't have energy, legs couldn't walk, brain couldn't think. So they held another Ishtagoshti. They said, what is wrong? We are all doing our own things and now we are all drying up. We are not getting any energy. We are not being able to do our work. Why? Then they came to the conclusion, no, it is because we are not giving the stomach anything. Actually, if the stomach gets, then we all get. Otherwise, we will all on our own, we will all dry up. So this Narad Muni tells in his preaching to King Prachina Parisat, it will come further. It says, Yata taror mula nishachanena tripyanti tatskanda bhujopashakha pranopahara chayatendriyanam tatarhanam sarvam achyutejyam. It says, just like if the tree wants nourishment, we water the root and the entire tree is nourished. Similarly, by feeding the stomach, the entire body is nourished. In the same way, when we worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, everyone is worshipped. When we please the Supreme Personality of Godhead, everyone is pleased. Right? In this material world, we are all looking for pleasure, we are looking for happiness. As mentioned here, King Puranjan, which is our story, went from city to city. So these cities are bodies, different bodies. Srila Prabhupada is mentioning here. The moth likes to see. And if it sees some nice, shiny thing, it wants to enjoy that. Right? And so immediately the moth, because it's a night creature, it only flies at night. During the day it's sleeping. At night it sees some shiny, fine thing, it enters in, but it doesn't know it's entering into fire. And it gets burnt up. Arjuna gave this analogy when he saw the universal form. He just said, as the moths are rushing into fire, I find all these soldiers rushing into your mouth. The moth doesn't know it's going into its death, but it is so attached to seeing some fiery, nice, glittering thing that it doesn't understand that this is fire, it's going to kill me. Similarly, the fish is always eating. You have so many down here, you can see them, they're always opening their mouth. Something they're eating, right? And so the fisherman, he puts a bait on that hook. And because of the tongue, the fish's tongue, it wants to eat, it gets captured. It goes to its death. Just one sense. Similarly, the deer, it's mentioned, the deer loves music. Srila Prabhupada is saying here. The hunters, they were very expert flute players. So they will start playing the flute and the deer is attracted and it stays stationary and then the hunter kills it. Then the elephant, when it's in must, then they use a female elephant to just brush by the male elephant. And she runs very fast. So the male elephant chases her, running after her. But the female elephant knows where the ditch is, the male elephant doesn't know. So as the female elephant is running ahead, she immediately bypasses the ditch and the male elephant, he falls right inside. And that's how they capture these elephants. Right? And so then they tame it. They don't give it food for like weeks until the elephant is completely defeated and then they take it out of the ditch. So I want to chase after the female elephant. Such a big, strong, Srila Prabhupada is saying, such a big, strong animal gets caught. Similarly, the bee, it smells pollen, right? And it goes into the lotus and it's drinking, gathering pollen. It's trying to get the pollen from the lotus. But then nightfall happens. And what happens to the lotus? It closes. And the bee can't get out. And so, the next morning when the lotus opens, the bee is dead. So just one sense can take us away. One sense pleasure. Lord Krishna says that one sense is enough. Just like Vayur Navam Ivam Basa. Just like the wind, one strong wind can carry away the boat. Similarly, one sense can carry away our mind and intelligence. And so here, Puranjan is trying to satisfy either one sense or two senses, three senses. Srila Prabhupada says in the human form of life, we get the opportunity to satisfy all the senses. Full sense pleasure, the eyes, the nose, the ears, the mouth and the skin. All five give us pleasure. So human beings, we see, the society, the culture that's there is to give pleasure to these five senses. But even though we try so hard, we are not happy. So as Srila Prabhupada is quoting one poet here, he also quoted another one, a Vaishnava poet elsewhere. He said, he was singing very nicely, Sukhero lagiya egara bandinu Agune Puriya Gelam. He said, I was so happy building a big house. They usually, in India, everyone wants their own house. They always dream of that. Then we have some land and we will build a big house on it. This many rooms, this many kitchens, this many bathrooms. And so this poet was singing, my whole life I spent in building this big house and I was so happy when it was ready. But the day I wanted to move in, the night before, a fire happened and the whole thing was finished. This is the nature of the material world, the nature of material happiness. We try so hard. As Puranjan here, he is going from city to city. He had so many desires, unlimited desires. All kinds of desires. But he was getting morose. None of it could be fulfilled. Lord Krishna tells us in the Bhagavad Gita of the three types of happiness. Yattad agre vishameva pariname mritopamam. That happiness which in the beginning is like poison, but in the end becomes nectar. That you should know is happiness in the mode of goodness. It arises when one comes into contact with self-realization. We see in the mood of goodness, self-realization, Srila Prabhupada writes that the first step in spiritual life anywhere is control of the mind and senses. Without this discipline, there is nothing, no question of spiritual life. In any path, even a pseudo-religious path, they'll have control of mind and senses. If we look at the major religions, they all have some rules and regulations to follow, isn't it? Christianity have their 10 commandments. Similarly, Islam has their following of worship. They have to worship 5 times. They have some things they can eat, some things they can't eat. Similarly, Buddhism also has their tenets. One being ahimsa is their main one, but they have so many others that are there, rules and regulations, celibacy, so on and so forth. Any spiritual path, even if it is a pseudo-religious path, there is question of controlling mind and senses. Srila Prabhupada says, without controlling mind and senses, nothing can be achieved. Even for this happiness that Puranjan is trying, there is an element of controlling the mind and senses for some time. See? So, therefore, in the beginning, so many do's and don'ts, so many rules and regulations. Oh, very tough. Waking up early in the morning, 4:30 you have to be in the temple hall for Mangal Aarti. Sometimes you tell people out there, they're like, oh, what time you wake up? They're thinking you say something like 7, 7:30, or maybe 6 if it's very early. Yeah. You tell them like, oh, I get up at 3:30. They're like, what? Why in the middle of the night? No, it's not night, it's early morning. There is even a famous author. His name is Robin Sharma. He is known, famous for one of his books he wrote is The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. He's a famous author. So he started he wrote another book and he said the 5 a.m. club. So he was going on about rising up early in the morning at 5 a.m. is such a good thing for everyone, and he's trying to motivate people to get up by 5. But for devotees, those who are practicing, like 5 is late, so late. Right? We get up much earlier. So getting up early in the morning, sometimes maybe there is no hot water, you have to take cold shower, sometimes of days of fasting. Usually like when we get boys coming to the ashram in Nairobi, they don't know what Ekadashi is. And then when Ekadashi comes, it's like, oh, this is so difficult. You don't have any grains, right? No chapati, no rice. How do you live? Right? They find it so difficult to do an Ekadashi. Yeah. And then if you tell them, no, today there is a half-day fast or full-day fast, then they're like dead. They're like, no, this is not possible, right? Yeah. So much austerity, so much regulation, so much discipline, like poison. You guys don't enjoy life. You devotee, when I used to work and I used to go to the office and they tell me, oh, do you drink tea? No. Do you drink coffee? No. Do you drink beer? No. What do you drink? That's not living, that's not enjoying. Yeah. So they can't understand. It's like poison. It's like, oh, your life is like poison. So therefore Lord Krishna says, Yattad agre vishamiva, that which is like poison in the beginning. Pariname mritopamam, but in the end becomes nectar, because in the end we get everlasting, blissful, joyful happiness. And the rest, they're in trouble. So happiness in the mode of goodness is very rare to find today. Very, very few percentage of the population will actually be engaged in trying to experience happiness in the mode of goodness. One, because mode of goodness is not there. 99%, up to 99% of the people, they are not in mode of goodness. When Srila Prabhupada went to America, in his Markine Bhagavad Dharma, he writes that these people all over here, they are completely drowning in the modes of passion and ignorance. He's praying to the Lord, please give me some intelligence how to reach out to these people. They are addicted to passion and ignorance, the lower modes. So therefore, to find someone who's pursuing happiness in the mode of goodness, very rare. You're all among one of them, the rare people. Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschid yatati siddhaye yatatam api siddhanam kaschin mam viti tattata. Amongst thousands and thousands of men, one may try to understand about the absolute truth. And amongst those who are trying, one may actually understand. So it's that rare. Therefore, we don't come across, those who are not devotees or practicing devotees, they don't come across this happiness in the mode of goodness. They're involved in happiness in the other modes. So therefore Lord Krishna says, for passion, happiness is yattad agre mritopamam pariname vishamiva. In the beginning it's sweet, it's nectar, but in the end it becomes poison. Becomes poison. This is what people are chasing most. Happiness in the mode of passion. You ask anyone out there what they want, what their ambitions are, what their dreams are, what their desires are. I want this or that, something that will give me instant pleasure. Nice car. Nice car. Mritopamam. Yattadagre mitopamam. Very nice, very happy. Yes, I got a nice car. I'm getting nice BMW. And then he goes and parks it in the middle of Chatsworth shopping center there, and someone comes and scratches it. And one scratch, pariname vishamiva. It becomes poison. One scratch on the car. Or worse, it gets stolen. Then the person is devastated. Right? So this is what people are chasing after. They think, yes, this will please me, that will please me, this person will please me. So initially they are happy in that relationship, and then vishamiva becomes poison. They don't want to see each other's face. They don't even want to see each other's shadow, what to speak of the face. Right? Big fights later on. This is happiness in the mode of passion. And Lord Krishna says it's born when the senses come in touch with their sense objects. Srila Prabhupada is mentioning the senses and the sense objects here. He is giving us examples. When one sense comes in touch with its sense object, it's game over. So therefore, those who are intelligent, yehi samsparshaja bhoga dukha yonaya evate adyantavanta konteya nateshu ramate buddha. Those who are Buddha, those who are intelligent, who have buddhi, buddhi means intelligence, they do not partake in this kind of pleasure. Which kind? The one that is born from when the senses come in touch with their sense objects. Samsparshaja bhoga. Samsparsha. Sparsha means touch. When the senses touch their sense objects, there is a pleasure that comes. So just like the tongue wants to taste something sweet, something nice, right? And when the tongue tastes a nice rasgulla or has some rasmalai, we have very nice rasmalai in Nairobi. It comes in, very happy. But if I'm in the mode of passion and I go for it, many rasmalai equals diabetes. Pariname vishamiva. Then it becomes, the very same thing becomes poison. Because now there is a sugar problem. Too much rasmalai. Dukha yonaya evate. So any pleasure that is born from when the senses come into contact with the sense objects, the end result, dukha yona. Lord Krishna says, when this sense touches the sense object, there is only one thing it produces. There is only one birth, the birth of dukkha, the birth of distress. Any sense. Someone engages in sense gratification too much, there will be a problem. You hear too much loud music, what happens? Now you go deaf. See so much TV or something, so many scrolls on the mobile at night, middle of night. Instead of sleeping, people are scrolling on their phones with low light conditions and all that. Then what happens? Blindness. You eat too much, indigestion. So many other diseases. Right? You have too much sex. Oh, then it's like the list is endless. STDs, AIDS, this, that. So many. Dukkha, only dukkha will come. Nothing else will come. So therefore, in the beginning, yattad agre mritopamam, it may seem like nectar, pariname vishamiva, but in the end it becomes poison. That is pleasure or happiness in the mode of passion. Everyone is chasing this. They're all going for, and if when some get completely frustrated from this, what do? They go to the lower mode, the mode of ignorance. Happiness in the mode of ignorance is born from illusion, laziness, right? Sleep, what Krishna tells us. So what happens? No, everyone, I'm frustrated with everything, let me just go to sleep. You ask people who are working, right, what is the one thing they look forward to do in the weekends? There's only one answer: sleep. They love to sleep. Because during the weekday, you have to wake up early, go to work, do so much work, sometimes work overtime, come back home, you're completely tired, but you can't sleep so long because the next day you still have to go to work. But the weekend comes, oh, then we can sleep. Right? So there was a survey done. What 4 things people love to do in their free time? Yeah. So top one was sleep. Someone has any free time, go to sleep. We find that in the ashram as well. If some devotees don't have seva, that they're like, oh, let me go to sleep. You find them sleeping after breakfast, after lunch, the whole night also, and then the next day they go, okay, Mangalarti, that. So, first thing, if you have some free time, oh, let's go to sleep. If you don't want to go to sleep, then let's go for a vacation. Let's go out, let's do something, picnic, somewhere out, somewhere in the scenery. If not that, then the third one was drink. Go to the pub and drink yourself silly until you don't remember your name also. Right? And number 4, if all these things are not available, watch a movie. Right? Have some entertainment. These days people don't even watch movies, they just on the reels, IG reels. Doom scrolling, 3 hours, 4 hours, just one after another, just scrolling. Some people even in their sleep they're going like this. Yeah? Moving their finger in their sleep. Because they're so used to that action. Right? And I've seen it actually. You see some places where there's a screen, people try to flick it. They think it's like a mobile screen that they can, it's a touch screen that they can interact with it, but it's just a normal screen. But if you note all these, sleep, vacation, drinking, and entertainment, what is the underlying principle? To escape. You're so fed up with your life, you're so fed up with everyone else, you just want to forget everything, and that is happiness in the mode of ignorance. So many people, either they're going for mode of passion or they're going for mode of ignorance. Yeah. I have no work, no job, right? I have no food, I can't pay my bills. What do? Let me go find some beer and forget about it all. Yeah. Or let me sleep you see them sleeping in the street. Why? Because if I sleep, no problem. Once I wake up, where am I going to get food? So that's what. In Africa, we have a bird. It's a very peculiar bird. It's called the ostrich. We saw some on the way from between Botswana and Johannesburg. Some ostriches were there. The ostrich, when it sees a predator coming, it does something very peculiar. The size of the ostrich's brain is mentioned is like a pea. It's very small. So when it sees a predator coming, what does it do? It buries its head in the ground. If I don't see it, it's not there. And the predator, usually lions, they just say, oh, this stupid bird. They don't even run. They walk up to it and eat it. Like, yeah, you giving yourself to me on a platter, I don't need to work for it. Yeah. So happiness in the mode of ignorance is like that. If I forget it, it's not there. We will look at it tomorrow. Whatever the problems are, we just forget them. Yeah. So the next day, the same problems are staring at you in the face. And what do? Oh, let's also drink today. Forget it till tomorrow. So that's how people become drunkards, losers. They don't want anything in life. They have no ambition. Because they're chasing the mode of ignorance, happiness in the mode of ignorance. But here we find Puranjan, even though he's chasing this kind of happinesses, the ones in the mode of passion and ignorance, he went through so many cities, unlimited number of cities, still didn't find a place to live. This is our position here in the material world. Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagyavan Jeev. We are constantly moving, the whole Brahmanda we are roaming around, trying to find a suitable place to live. Only when we come into touch with happiness that is in the mode of goodness, happiness that is in devotional service, then we can experience some pleasure. Nasti buddhir ayuktasya, nacha yuktasya bhavana. Nacha bhavayata shantir, ashantasya kutaha sukham. Lord Krishna tells us in the Gita. If one does not come into contact with the Supreme, his mind and intelligence, there is no question of controlling them. Nasti buddhira yuktasya, nacha yuktasya bhavana. And when the mind and intelligence are not controlled, then ashantasya kutaha sukham, then one cannot be peaceful. And without peace, there cannot be happiness. This is what people don't understand. They want happiness, but happiness cannot come without peace. Everywhere, everyone is going after this. But there is no peace. Someone thinks, oh, if I have a lot of Bitcoin in my wallet, I'll be happy because I'll be rich. But then there is no peace because every single hour he is checking the price of Bitcoin. If it drops a little bit, heart attack. Yeah. It goes up a little bit, oh, very nice. Then again goes down, oh. So there is no peace. Previously there were no banking institutions. So what people used to do, they used to sleep on their money. You may have heard, people would hide the money under the pillow and sleep on it. But then no sleep comes because there is money underneath. And people are always worried, oh, someone will come, they'll still wake me up and take all the money and go. So there is no peace. We have assets, but there is no peace. Someone has just bought a new car and parked it in the garage. Do you think that person will go to sleep? Especially in South Africa, right? Yeah. My neighbors will see tomorrow someone can come and just take it. They can't sleep. No peace. But peace, where does peace come from? Peace only comes from one who has it. And who is that person who has peace? Lord Krishna. Atmarama, self-satisfied, peaceful. He has nothing to gain from anyone. He even tells Arjuna, Namam karmani limpanti name karma phales priya. I have no work to do, nor am I obligated to do anything. Because he is peaceful. He doesn't want anything, doesn't need anything. We are not peaceful because we want so much, just like Puranjan here has unlimited desires. We have unlimited desires. And our situation is so bad that even in those unlimited desires, each desire is producing another unlimited desires, which we will read further on. There is no end. Asat Trishna. No end to the desires. But Lord Krishna, He is peaceful. No desire. And He tells us how to become peaceful as well. He says you just have to understand 3 things. Only 3 things. Bhoktaram yagatapasam, number 1. Number 2, Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. And number 3, Suridam Sarvabhutanam. If you understand these 3 things, then what will happen? Gyatva mam shantim richati. If you know me as this, then you will get peace. So, number 1, Bhoktaram yagatapasam. Lord Krishna is the enjoyer. See, in the modes of passion and ignorance, the happiness that we pursue, we are thinking we are the enjoyer. Let me forget everything, let me drink, I'll enjoy. Ignorance. Or let me go and try to get something somehow, get my senses in contact with their sense objects, passion. But I am still thinking I am the enjoyer. Lord Krishna says, you understand, I am the supreme enjoyer, you will be peaceful. So when we understand, the only person who enjoys is Lord Krishna. That's the first part. Second part, Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. The Lord is the supreme owner, controller, proprietor. We try to enjoy because we think if I own something, then I can enjoy it. Therefore, we spend our life trying to gather possessions, thinking they'll make us happy. Because I own it, I can enjoy it. I own this piece of land, I can enjoy it. I own this car or I own this money, I can enjoy it. But Lord Krishna is Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. He is the supreme owner of everything. And thirdly, when we understand He is our eternal well-wisher, Suridam Sarvabhutanam, then we become peaceful. Then we get peace. And when we get peace, then we get happiness. Without that peace, there is no question of happiness. Ashantasya kutah sukham. This is the Supreme Personality of Godhead saying. No one can prove Him wrong. People have been trying since the beginning of creation to try and prove those words wrong. Looking for happiness here and there, but never getting satisfied. Just like Puranjan. Going here and there, so many cities, so many places, never ever getting. He's trying to find a place where his desires could be fulfilled. Unfortunately, he found a feeling of insufficiency everywhere. Not peaceful, no happiness, feeling incomplete. And there is proof. If we just open our eyes, we can see this proof. Even the world's richest peoples, Larry Ellison, Jeff Bezos, Anil Ambani, Ramaphosa with the undeclared wealth. All these richest people, they're still working. If money could give happiness, then these people have so much that their grandchildren's grandchildren don't need to work. Yet, they're working, they're getting more and more. Why? No satisfaction, no happiness. Look at Jeff Bezos, owner of Amazon, super rich, but no happiness, had to divorce his wife. Bill Gates also, super rich, no happiness in home, divorced the wife. Look at all of them. Just need to open the paper and thousands of examples are there. From political heads to industrialists to even just the normal Tom, Dick and Harry on the street. Everyone is feeling incomplete. So Ishopanishad gives us a hint how to become complete. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Ishopanishad is saying, the Lord is complete. whatever comes out from him are all complete. And therefore, any feeling of incompleteness, like here Puranjan is feeling insufficient, incomplete. Any feeling of incompleteness is because we are not in touch with the complete. Srila Prabhupada gives the example in that purport of the invocation of Ishopanishad. He says, just like the hand, if I sever the hand from my arm, the hand is useless. If I give you just one severed hand, here, what can you do with it? You'll throw it away. People throw it away. They say, what is this? This is useless. Yeah. But as soon as the hand is connected with the arm, then it's very useful. So similarly, the living entity disconnected from the source of peace, disconnected from the source of happiness, as Srila Prabhupada here is mentioning, Anandamayo Vyasat. Lord Krishna is the source of unlimited happiness, but when we disconnect ourselves, like the severed hand, we are useless. We are not complete. We can only become completely, when we completely connect ourselves to the Supreme Complete. So English is funny. English is funny. I always say it. So here Srila Prabhupada is saying the living entity is seeking complete enjoyment. But however, complete enjoyment cannot be achieved separate from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And so we have to completely connect ourselves with the complete happiness, with the complete peace, for us to experience completeness ourselves. See, Sanskrit is easy. Purnamadav, Purnamidam, Purnat Purnamudachyate. In English, the same thing is like, okay, you're using too much complete. Now it's complete confusion. The only result is complete confusion. No, it's simple. We are complete, but we are feeling incomplete. It's a feeling. Our nature is Sat Chit Ananda. We are blissful. That's why we're looking for bliss everywhere. By nature, this is what we do. Our work is to enjoy. Because we are part and parcels of Krishna. Lord Krishna is also Sat Chit Ananda, and his work is also just enjoyment. So we are complete, but we are feeling incomplete because we have disconnected ourselves from Krishna. So when we reconnect ourselves, okay, I am now connecting to Krishna, then we become complete. Then we experience complete happiness. When we are with Krishna. So therefore, Lord Krishna says, those who are intelligent, buddhi, those who have intelligence, they do not take pleasure in these lower modes of rajas and tamas and the happiness that is born from them. That has a beginning, adi anta, adyantavanta. They don't take pleasure in this kind of happiness. They take pleasure in unending happiness. There is no beginning and there is no end. That happiness cannot be found here in this material world. Therefore, Swayam Bhagavan Keshav Maharaj always quotes this author. His name is C.S. Lewis. He was a Christian scholar. And he said, if I find in myself a desire which cannot be satisfied with anything here in this material world, then it must mean that I am from another world. So we are trying to satisfy ourselves here in the material world through many, many ways, many, many resources, many avenues, but nothing is satisfying. That means we're not here, we're not from here in this material world. We belong with Krishna. And when we join ourselves back to Krishna, then we become happy. Krishna bahir mukha jiva bhoga vancha kare. We came here looking away from Krishna. Nikatastha maya japatiya dhare. And because we looked away from Krishna, we're looking at Maya, and what is Maya doing? Giving us a nice slap. Take that. Yeah. So if we want to stop being slapped by Maya, we just have to turn around, look to Krishna, connect with Krishna. connect with the unending source of happiness. And therefore then we stop this cycle of going from one city to another, to another, to another, trying to look for happiness. We stop that whole process because we become peaceful in serving Krishna. And with that peace, then ultimate, complete happiness is experienced. Hare Krishna. If there are any questions or comments, please feel free. Raghunath Bhatt Prabhu, if you want to add anything. Radhika Jivan Prabhu. Anasuya Mataji.
Thank you, Shri Gauranga Prabhu. I was just thinking of the mode of goodness. There's also pitfalls in the mode of goodness, where one becomes very content also, because I'm good. And the other one is that you can become very proud also. So there's two pitfalls also in goodness, although we may aspire for goodness as a devotee. The other thing I was talking about, people keep the money under the pillow, in the mattress. There was a riot in South Africa some years back, some decades back in Inanda, and there was fire put on into people's homes, but they're pulling the mattress and running because the money was in the mattress. So, so people, yes, they store the monies in different places. Even in India, it's like that.
Yes.
Yeah. So thank you very much for your nice class. Also appreciate it. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji, Ranga Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for the beautiful class. I was just thinking, we may know the answer to this, but I want to hear your viewpoint. Krishna is self-satisfied, and he doesn't hanker for anything, but still he's hankering after, the Radharani. And so, can you share your thoughts on this?
Yes, so Krishna is self-satisfied, then why does he need us and why does he need Radharani and them all? Because if he's self-satisfied. So, yes, the Shastras, they say that Ananda means there is reciprocation. There is a give and there is a take. Someone takes, someone gives. Then reciprocation is higher. So, without going too much into the technicalities, we see Krishna is self-satisfied. Part of his self-satisfaction is that he can increase his Ananda. Right? When the demigods and demons were churning the milk ocean, there were many things that were produced. The very first thing was poison, which killed them all, and then Lord Shiva had to drink it to save them all. And then lots of things were produced, and one of the people who came out from that was Lakshmi Devi. And very beautiful narration is given how she was searching for a suitable husband. And she's looking at everyone there. There were great sages there, great demigods, great demons also. She was analyzing all of them and coming up with pros and cons. So, for example, she looked at Durvasa, she said, "You're a great yogi, but you can't control your anger, so I reject you." So in this way, she went through so many people. But then she came to Lord Vishnu. And she said, "You are the most suitable because you do not need me." Everyone else wanted Lakshmi Devi there. They wanted to claim her. That, "Oh, we will go with Lakshmi Devi." Lord Vishnu, he was silent. He was like, whatever. Therefore, Lakshmi Devi said, "You are the most appropriate person to become my husband because you don't need me. However, you have so much compassion and mercy in you that you will accept me because I am praying to you." See? And if we see, we mentioned Srimati Radharani, actually Srimati Radharani is Antaranga Shakti, is part of the Ananda Chinmaya Rasa. So, eternally there. Right? And then the question always comes, then why were we created? We are there to give pleasure, we are there to increase the pleasure. He doesn't need, but he accepts, right, for our benefit. Just like Prahlad Maharaj, he is praying to Nrsingadev. He says, my dear Nrsingadev, you are so merciful. You do not require my worship. And he gives an analogy. He says, just as a person decorates his face by looking in the mirror, similarly, my dear Lord, you are accepting our service. We decorate the face in the mirror by decorating the actual face. So Prahlad Maharaj is saying, we are getting benefited when we serve you because we get happiness. You don't need our service. Prahlad Maharaj is telling Nrsingadev. But you are so merciful, you are accepting it for our benefit. So, Lord Krishna, He is Atma Rama, He doesn't need to come here. Still, out of His compassion, that is His compassion. One of His wonderful qualities is compassion. Out of His compassion, He comes here saying, come back, come with me, then you'll become happy. He doesn't need to do it. He is fully satisfied. But for our benefit, that compassion of His comes in front. And therefore, even Srimati Radharani, she is known as the most compassionate because she is wishing that all these devotees who are serving Krishna, they all come back to Krishna. Is that okay, Mataji?
Fine,
Yeah.
thank you. Hare Krishna.
Okay. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल।